Hey everyone, Mr. Munnin here again with another IA review video. This review video is on identifying fractions. Let's jump right into it. Look at this number line. Point x is halfway between 1/4 and 1/2. What fraction does point x represent? Let's take a look at it. It looks like x is right in between 1/4 and 1/2. Now remember, when we are modeling fractions, fractions are representing equal parts. So I've just divided that chunk into half. So that means I need to divide the other chunks into half so that all of these parts are equal. So let's do that now. So now that we've divided all those chunks into half, let's go ahead and figure out what our answer is so that we know what fraction point x represents. Let's first figure out the denominator. Now remember, the denominator refers to the total number of chunks. So let's count how many chunks there are that we see on this number line. Here's 1 chunk, 2 chunks, 3 chunks, 4 chunks, 5 chunks, 6 chunks, 7 chunks, 8 chunks. So because there are 8 chunks, our denominator is 8. Now let's figure out how many chunks in point x is. There's 1 chunk, 2 chunk, 3 chunks. Point x is 3 chunks in, so that means the numerator is 3, and that means that point x represents 3/8. Let's take a look at this next problem. Marco has read 2 out of 5 chapters of his books. The model below shows the amount that he has read. See, 2 shaded out of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. What fraction of chapters has Marco read? Well, this is pretty simple. All I need to do is write my numerator and my denominator. The denominator is 5 because there are 5 in total. And the numerator is 2 because there are 2 shaded in. Now I need to write what percent of the chapters has Marco read. Well, this goes straight back to our common conversions, and I hope that you have your common conversions memorized. We know from memory that 2/5 is equivalent to 40%. Now you're probably wondering, Mr. Munnin, what if I don't have my common conversions memorized? Well, the first thing that I will tell you is memorize them. It's much more helpful for you to have your common conversions memorized. However, in a pinch, it is possible for you to use the algorithm to get your percentage. Remember, the algorithm is to first turn the fraction into a decimal and then convert it to a percentage. The algorithm to convert this to a decimal is numerator divided by denominator. So that's 2 divided by 5. Let's go ahead and do that division now. Know that 5 goes into 2 0 times. 0 times 5 is 0. Let's subtract 2, take away 0 is 2. Can't have a remainder, so I'm just going to add a decimal point and some zeros, because those zeros do not change the value of our division problem. However, it is going to help us divide. So now I can drop down this 0. How many times does 5 go into 20? It goes in 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 take away 20 is 0. That means that we are done. Because I'm dividing a decimal by a whole number, my decimal point goes straight up. So a decimal is 4/10. So now I need to convert this decimal into a percentage, and we do that by multiplying it by 100. And the trick to do that is to move the decimal point 2 spots to the right. So if I have 4/10, the decimal point is here. I'm moving 1 spot there, 1 spot there. Fill in with a 0. That means the percentage is 40%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have noticed that that process is much, much longer and much more complicated than just memorizing my common conversions. So if you don't have these common conversions memorized yet, make sure that you do get them memorized so that you are successful on IA1. But as always, in a pinch, you can always do the algorithm and go through all of the steps. This video has been identifying fractions. Best of luck in studying for the IA.